So I just got laid off from Amazon. I was one of the 14,000 people who got an email at like 4 in the morning saying that your role has been eliminated. So honestly, what am I feeling right now? I'm kind of numb. I'm I'm kind of in shock.
Yeah, right now there are a lot of reported layoffs in Amazon as a result of AI restructuring and downsizing and consolidating of various warehouses. Basically, what's happening, from what we gather, is the installation of robotics and automation. So it's going to have a major impact on the general workforce of Amazon going forward. So we have to take a look at robotics.
Amazon has recently laid off 26,000 workers and they have replaced them with robots. And it's getting too much. It's getting to a point where things are entirely expensive. How do y'all expect people to pay their bills when you're replacing us with robots? How? I just need to know. Amazon is a good paying warehouse. Why would you want to take that away from the people? You can make up to $30 an hour at Amazon. That's good enough money to survive on. Because I think minimum wage is still $7.25 or maybe $7.50. Why would y'all want to replace human workers with machines? Those machines are man-made. Anything can happen to those machines. Why are y'all taking away food from children's mouth because their parents can't go to work? Why would y'all want to do that? I don't get it.
Yeah, going back to everything that's happening, it seems kind of overwhelming right now. But if you do happen to go through a layoff, the motto right now is reset, reset, reset. One of the highlights of this previous creator, and a shout out to all of the creators that are contributing, salaries just simply don't match cost of living. No pay range listed for a lot of these jobs that are being posted, and benefits unclear until late. It almost seems like because there's such a high number of people who are applying for these jobs, then some of these employers can actually scale back on offering the benefits.
Amazon starts cutting 16,000 employees on Monday, the largest layoff in the company's 30-year history. AWS, retail, Prime Video, HR, all getting hit. Now here's what makes this week different. Intel beat earnings by 87.5%, crushed expectations, then crashed 13%. Wall Street does not care what you did on yesterday. They care about tomorrow. Excellence does not protect you anymore. Guidance does.
Yeah, so shout out to this creator in highlighting the fact that a lot of us define our life as far as as far as what we do. So with the loss of a job, there's shame and embarrassment when asked, so what do you do? And in that single moment, a lot of people end up finding that their definition or life purpose was actually defined by the type of work they do or their job. And they felt a sense of purpose, and now that sense of purpose has now vanished. So loss of confidence after repeated rejections is one of the main social complaints, and also emotional complaints from job seekers right now. Anxiety spikes every time an email notification arrives. You can never tell whether that email notification is going to be possibly an invite to the last round of interviews, or you were offered possibly another position that you're more suited based on your skill set. Also, depression is linked directly to prolonged job searching. So that's one thing that for job seekers, unfortunately, if you find yourself in a predicament where you've been searching for a job 6 months, 7 months, 8 months out from when you were where you're laid off, you want to keep a note on or keep an eye on significant anxiety and depression and get help if you're able to. And also, one of the main issues with job loss is being judged by friends and family, because it goes back to that sense of purpose or feeling like you're not able to meet your own obligations. So you're less than, which is not necessarily the case, because a job should not necessarily define your life purpose. A lot of times, in my case, in losing a job, it was, and reflecting back, the first month or two can be very daunting, especially if you don't have life savings set aside. However, it always led to a new opportunity, a new rebirth, a new time to reflect on one's life purpose, whether they want to leave one niche of field of work and go into another. So they're up, try to set aside, try and offset, feeling being judged by friends and family. Internalized rejection as personal failure is a social complaint. Emotional exhaustion from pretending to stay optimistic. This is a huge one, because a lot of times we tell ourselves everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. And while it's good to have a positive mindset after putting out 200, 300 applications and not getting merely one or two interviews and nothing results in a job, then it's very, very hard to actually maintain that level of optimism, and there lies that emotional exhaustion. So, as we look for the telltale signs of social complaints, emotional exhaustion from looking for a job, difficulty with maintaining just a daily structure, if you're used to doing certain routine every morning in preparation for work, there's going to be anxiety, there's going to be depression, because that routine has now been removed. And feeling invincible or disposable, feeling invisible or disposable in the labor market as time progresses, where you become more of what's called long-term unemployed, and that could be anywhere from 7 months to 8 months. It has a daunting effect on your mindset. So try to stay optimistic, and thank you for tuning in.